Hello and welcome to episode 50 of the Victorian Studio podcast. My name is Maureen and I'm coming to you from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada on Tuesday, October the 25th, 2016. Welcome to all new and returning viewers. Thank you so much for coming by for a visit. I hope you enjoy seeing what I have to share with you today. Well, over the last couple of weeks, I've been concentrating on just a few of my many projects currently on the needles. What I wanted to do was to ensure that I completed some projects that had some deadlines. And with the end of October fast approaching, I can't believe that Halloween is only 6 days away. There are some projects that I really needed to get completed for October the 31st. So I thought I would share those with you today because some of the other projects I've either not touched at all or done so little, it really isn't worth it for me to bore you with those details this week. So I thought I would jump right into the knitting today and start with a finished object. I completed another pair of socks. I shared these with you last episode that I had, I believe, one of the two socks done. And I'm pleased to say, as of last night, I finished the second sock. And these are what I'm calling my pumpkin spice socks because I'm using the orange and yellow yarn that I dyed up for my maple leaf shawl during the Canada KAL. So what I did was I decided to use one of Mina Phillip's, the Knitting ExPat's patterns from her first set of Beyond Vanilla socks. And these are the Pebble socks. So this is a paid-for pattern on Ravelry, and it is just wonderful. I love Mina's patterns. They're so easy to follow. I was really very pleased, especially her teaching me a new technique, the German short row heel. So here are my completed socks, and I'm very happy the way they turned out. They're not identical, but they weren't meant to be. They're mostly what we call Franken socks, using up bits and pieces of other yarns. So I'm not concerned at all that they're slightly different, but they're pretty good. They were just meant to use up leftover yarn that I had dyed up for that maple leaf shawl. So they're top-down socks. The pattern is just on the front of the sock, a really easy pattern to follow, and just a stockinette stitch on the back, and the German short row heel and Kitchener toe. So I'm very pleased to have these done. I really like the way they turned out. And it was great because I was able to enter these in quite a few knit-alongs. First of all, for the Harry Potter knit-along, these were in what we call detention. And during the O-Loops Harry Potter knit-along, if you have some projects that are currently on the needles but not completed before October the 1st, when term officially began, you could place those projects into a post and in the detention thread. And then if you finish those projects during the term of the Harry Potter knit-along, which is October 1st to December 31st, you are able to take them out of detention and therefore get some points towards prizes. So these are the third of 6 items that I had in detention that are now complete. So that was the first thing that I entered them for. And then, of course, Kim and I are both co-hosting. I'm co-hosting with her idea. Her Socktember knit-along, which began September the 1st and runs until November 30th. So I entered them on her thread for Socktember. And then Helen, Sprite 966, very sweet Helen over in Scotland, had made me aware that she also is doing a Socktober knit-along. So I entered these in her knit-along as well. So it was great getting these finished and entered into all of those knit-alongs. So as I said, I was using up some yarn that I had left over from the maple leaf shawl, and this is now all that I have left. I think that's all of them. Yeah, I believe these are all that I have left. So I just wound them back up into some mini skeins, and I'll use them maybe for some swapping of mini skeins. Speaking of which, over the last year or so, I've been in various swaps, and people have sent me things, and I've also purchased some mini skeins, but have yet to decide what I'm actually going to make out of all these mini skeins. So I had them in various piles and bags and that kind of thing in my stash, and so this past weekend I decided to get them all out and just see how many mini skeins I have. And I was pretty surprised at, for somebody who has no idea what she's going to do with them yet, I have a fair collection of mini skeins already. So I thought I would put them all together and keep them all at hand, so when I decide what the heck I'm going to do, if I'm going to do a blanket or some other project with all these mini skeins, then they'll all at least be in one place now. So they look so beautiful all together, and I'll add these to the collection. And also a little bit later I'll share with you another swap package that I received, and there's even more mini skeins that I will add to my little collection here as well. So I thought I would share that with you also. So, like I say, I don't know what it is I'm going to make with all of those. Maybe if somebody has other ideas. I don't know if I want to just do a memory blanket or what everybody is doing. I'd maybe like to do something a little different. So, if anybody has any other suggestions out there, I'd love to hear them. So that is the first project that I have to share with you, and I can't believe that was pair number 15 of the socks that I've done since 2014, since starting to knit. So I really am surprised how many socks I've got completed, especially over the last year or so. I really do enjoy knitting those up. So speaking of socks, the next project that I wanted to share with you again are a pair of socks, and this time it's a project that is the main challenge over at the Harry Potter Knit Along, and I apologize in advance. This is going to be very Harry Potter centric again this week because I'm doing so many projects for that term over at the O-Loops group, having a lot of fun doing those. So as I said, this project is the main challenge. Every month you have one main challenge and 2 extra credit challenges. So I already shared with you in a previous episode, I did some child socks for one of my extra credits, and after I show you this main challenge, I'll show you what I did for the second extra credit challenge. So for the main one, we had to do something in the theme of wings or flying, and if you used an O-Loops yarn, you got extra credit for it, and if you used one of Lydia from the O-Loops group, she designs as well, one of her patterns, then that's also extra points that you get. So what I did was I chose, like many other people have, her sous son aile socks, and that is French for under her wing, and Lydia explains in her pattern she called them that based on a passage from the first Harry Potter book in which he meets Hedwig for the first time and his snowy owl, and she's in her cage and she is fast asleep with her head under her wing. So sous son aile is under her wing. So these socks that Lydia designed are very pretty. Like I said, there's so many people making them, all different yarns, very beautiful lace pattern going up the front. So I'm almost finished them, but I really have only 6 days left to finish them up. So I've been trying desperately to complete them. So I got a fair amount done over the last few days at least. And I've been using some yarn that I got on a D-stash called Tonks, and that's this colorway, and it's an O-Loops yarn as well. And this is, get the card for this. Here we go. It is 80% merino, 20% nylon, and it's 400 yards of 100 grams. So it's beautiful purples, blacks, even like a silvery purple in there as well. Really pretty. So I took Lydia's pattern, and she has it in a few sizes, so I'm doing her medium size. I'll show you the front of this. This is a paid for pattern, of course, on Ravelry, but that's what it looks like. And I've really been enjoying knitting these up. She also is excellent at writing a pattern, and I've been doing these 2 at a time, but on separate needles. So I did both of them up to, now these are my first toe up socks. So when I say up, I really do mean it. I started at the toe and then worked my way up, and you can see the lace pattern here through the variegated yarn there. And this is up to where I'm going to be starting the heel. So I did the first one up to that point, and this one I've got a little further. I've started doing the heel gusset on this one. So what I've been doing is in the cake pulling out yarn from both the center and outside. So I only have the one cake of this, but I'm very pleased with how this is developing so far. Start with the Judy's Magic cast on, which is the first time I've ever done that, and my first time doing toe up. So I'm really pleased with that. And yeah, I love the purple colors and the blacks, and this is very Halloweenish as well. So these are very short socks. They come just below the ankle. So even though I'm just at the heel, just about at the heel, I won't have that much more to knit up once I have gone through the heel. The cuff is very, very short on these. So this is what I'm going to be concentrating on over the next couple of days. But at least I think I'll be able to meet that deadline of October 31st for that. And she's already posted what our challenges are for November. So as soon as I finish that project, I'll be able to then concentrate on what I'm going to knit up for November. Another 3 new challenges. So that's 2 of the 3 that I wanted to share with you. And the last project that I wanted to show you is something that I started and finished from the last episode. I only had the yarn dyed up for this project last time, and so I got it on the needles, and it really didn't take too long. But what I wanted to do for one of the other extra credit challenges, it was to make something in relation to Fantastic Beasts. And if you're familiar with Harry Potter, you'll know that in November is the next movie in the Harry Potter series called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that when it comes out. And the challenge was to make something along the lines of like a toy. You could either do a doll or a monster or some kind of creature. So what I wanted to do was make a snowy owl, and I didn't want to follow anybody else's pattern though. I wanted to do something of my own making, like I've done toys before. And now what's great about doing this project at this time is I can also enter it into the Pen, Hook and Needles Toy Along. So even though I have projects in our Victorian Studio group, of course, I can enter into Pen, Hook and Needles and also at Me and My Dog and Some Yarns podcast, both of those threads for the Toy Along this fall. So again, double, triple dipping into those. So as I said, I wanted to create something just out of my own head, like I've done for my fox, and I did a dragon and my lion. Basically, I kind of created. So what I did was I took some bare yarn undyed and dyed up only a part of it with some black acid dyes to make it a little bit speckled. So because I knew that some parts of a snowy owl, it wasn't completely white, that it did have some black and gray speckles in it. So the plan was to use both the undyed and my dyed yarn in this project. And I didn't want to make a huge toy, but what I did was I just started out by basically making a tube and then making it the shape of the body, and then going from there, adding all the little extras. So probably the best way to explain how I made it is I'll show you, and then I'll explain how I created my own Hedwig for the Harry Potter and for the toy knit-alongs. So this is my little toy owl. And as you can see, he's not very big. He stands about 6 inches tall, and he's all knit except for some of the yarn that I used to pull through around his eyes and around his claws. It's the same kind of technique that I did both with my lion and my fox as well, and my Raja tiger as well. I really love the extra look that it gives it by pulling through and then kind of combing out the yarn to give it that just a little bit more detail to it. So like I say, what I did was I just started out by doing some increases, made basically a tube, and then what I did was I knew I wanted the owl to kind of sit sideways with his head turned. So I did some decreases down the front, and then a few short rows to make it tapered down to the tail on this side. So that's about all the shaping I did for the main body. And then what I did was I took some yarn and used a sewing needle and just kind of sewed it through just the front part of the head here and pulled it a little bit tight, just to give him the shape of his head separated from his body. So, and I'm calling him he, because I know if you're a true Harry Potter fan, you'll know that Hedwig is a girl, but I'm calling my Hedwig a he. So before I stuffed him, I wanted to make sure I inserted some eyes, and the only eyes I had in my stash were some brown eyes. So what I did was I first painted them yellow and then added the black. And at first I had the black centers of his eyes a little bit smaller, and then I increased them and it looked a lot better. But also what I did was I backed those eyes before I inserted them and attached them inside. I put some round pieces of black felt behind his eyes just for a little bit more definition as well, because I was looking at pictures of real snowy owls and I noticed that they did have black around the outside of their eyes. So that's how I did his eyes, and then I used that same black felt to make a little beak. And let's see, and then for his claws, I used just some wire that I twisted together and painted black. And then I inserted them up into his legs after I had sewn the legs on. And then, I wrapped them with some yarn as well, so to make them a little bit fatter, making it look more like feet. And then again, just added this extra yarn on top to finish them off, because the snowy owl does have kind of really long feathers over their claws. So the wings I shaped by doing some knit two togethers and increases on another side. And what I did was I did the wings 4 times, 2 times in opposite designs, so that they would be, mirrored on either side, using both my speckled yarn and some of the undyed yarn together. At first I was just doing the wings in the speckled yarn, but they were too dark. So what I did was I just did a little bit, like color work where I held both yarns and I would do a couple of stitches in the white and a couple of stitches in the speckled, and that seemed to work out a lot better. But what I did do is do the underside of his wings just with the undyed yarn, and that I just again knit up 2 matching ones that were mirrors. And what I was going to do was planning at first was, you know, stuffing them and then maybe stitching through them so that they would lay flat. But what I realized is once I had them both knit up and sewn together all around, they required no extra stuffing. They were great, just the 2 layers of knitting together. So I sewed those onto the body, and then I also did a little tail. I had a little tail coming up from the bottom in the white. But what I thought, I've seen on some pictures that the snowy owls had some of the tail feathers in the gray as well. So I just did a little part of the same kind of gray and white color work, just for a little bit of just design difference in the back for his little tail. So I just sewed that on a little bit later. So I think that's all that I have to share about him. I'm really pleased with the way he turned out. What I did was I stuffed him after I put the eyes on, stuffed the head, did this part around the neck, and then finished stuffing the body. And then before I put the legs on, I finished up by just gathering everything down below and sealed him up down there. So, and again, just did little legs and stuffed those. And the wires from the claws are 3 parts of a single wire that goes up through the legs. So it's really nice because it makes it nice and stable to sit nice and sturdy. So yeah, I think that's all that I have to say about my little Hedwig, but I'm very pleased with the way he turned out, and I'm glad that I was able to have him to put on both the Harry Potter Knit Along Fantastic Beasts challenge and also into the toy KAL. So a lot of fun. I really love making toys. I think that's my favorite thing to knit, to be honest, and yeah, I'm looking forward to doing maybe even a few more this fall for the toy KAL. So we'll put Hedwig there. So he was his yarn I was putting in my Hogwarts bag that I made myself, and I still have a lot of this yarn left over. I used the Knit Picks Imagination Bear yarn, and I ended up using about 100 yards on Hedwig, so I have a fair amount left, so I can dye this up with something else, and I still have lots of the speckled left, and again I can just skein that up and maybe another couple of mini skeins for that. So I'll use this bag again for one of November's challenges over at the Harry Potter Knit Along. I also wanted to thank Marlisha and Talia of the Pen Hook and Needles podcast for their sweet compliments on my owl on their podcast today. Thank you so much, ladies. You're always so very kind. And thank you to everyone who has left such nice comments and compliments about my creation on the various boards that I've entered him into. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. So speaking of toys, next up I wanted to talk about the Pen Hook and Needles Toy KAL. Of course, you'll know that I'm co-hosting this with those wonderful ladies at Pen Hook and Needles, and also Kim at Me and My Dog and Some Yarn. And this toy knit along started October the 1st and goes until December 31st. And I have a separate thread in my group for both finished objects and chatter and works in progress. Now in that thread, I will be doing a random.org drawing of one winner of a $10 or less US Ravelry pattern. I'll announce the winner on the next episode for anybody that has entered any kind of post in that thread from October 1st to October 31st. I'll also be doing another draw for another $10 pattern at the end of November and a third one at the end of December. So if you're doing some chatter, works in progress, or your finished objects, you'll be eligible for that as long as you're a member of the Victorian Studio podcast group. So what I thought I would do is share with you some pictures from that thread of the finished projects that have been entered so far. And I will do this again in a couple of weeks, showing more toys as well. But I thought you'd enjoy seeing all the beautiful and adorable toys that have been entered so far. Those are just so adorable. I really love seeing all of the toys that are being created. So thank you everyone for your wonderful contributions so far in that thread. I'm looking forward to seeing even more over the next couple of months. Well, over the last couple of weeks, I've also received in the mail some wonderful prizes for the Toy Knit Along. Just like last year, we have had wonderful support from both Ancient Arts Yarns and Stitchcraft Marketing. So I thought I would share with you today what arrived. Now, the last episode I mentioned that Ancient Arts Yarns is going to be providing 3 prizes at the end of the knit along, and they will be the winner's choice of colorway in one of 3 different yarn weights from their website. And I'll just show you here some of the beautiful colors that they have available. They have so many wonderful yarns. I think my favorites though are the Meow and Woof collections, and of course a portion of the sale of the Meow and Yarns go to help out dog and cat charities. So they're just a wonderful company to be working with. So thank you so much, Carolyn, for all your support and help. Now, besides a skein of yarn, each winner will also receive one of their Shasta needle gauges, and that's in the shape of Shasta, their cat, over at Ancient Arts Yarns. So thank you so much. Those are awesome prizes. As well, Carolyn also sent some yarn for me to make a toy out of, and this year I chose Shasta Cat, and this is this beautiful gray and beige tonal yarn, and this is it's BFL. It's a four ply fingering sock yarn, 400 meters and 100 grams, and yeah, I'm looking forward to making some toy out of this. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to make yet. Now that I have my owl done, I can concentrate on this as my next toy project. But this is made just like their Shasta Cat over at Ancient Arts. And of course, when they send them, they have this beautiful card that explains both their Meow and Wolf collections. This is the Meow collection card. So really beautiful yarns, and yeah, I really loved working with their yarns in the past. She was very generous to support my projects last year as well, so I'm looking forward to creating something special with this wonderful yarn. So thank you so much, Caroline, for both providing prizes and yarn support for my own toy. So thank you so much. Also, Stephanie at Stitchcraft Marketing has also been helping us out again this year, as she did last year, and she sent me a package that I wanted to share with you. There are a couple of items in here I think you'll like. The first is a project bag. Now this is probably more like a notions bag, or maybe for a small project. Apologies for the crinkling. At first I thought this was 2 bags when I looked at it through the packaging, but then I realized they're both together. So this would make a great either notions bag or small project bag that you could put various things on either side. So thank you so much, Stephanie. I've never seen a bag in this design before, so that's just awesome. So somebody's going to be lucky to win that bag. She's also sent some yarn, and what she did was she wanted me to try some new to me yarn, and she sent 3 colors, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one to make a toy out of, and the other 2 will be up for prizes. So I've yet to decide which one I'm going to try, but these are all from it is called Kraemer Yarns, and it's called Naturally Nazareth. So she sent along 3, I wanted to do some kind of animal toy, so I asked her to send 3 neutrals, or more natural colors, so that I could make up a toy. So I have an idea. I might use this gray if the idea that I have I decide to do. I have to decide yet. By next episode I will let you know which one I've decided to use. But there's 3 of these. This is worsted weight yarn, 200 yards of 100% domestic merino wool. And this first one is called Moonlight. Very nice. And this is very substantial yarn. This is going to make a great toy. So there's Moonlight. This one is called Bordeaux. Very nice. It's a brown, but it's got these touches of deep red in it. It's very interesting. So I'll have to think hard of, what I could make out of this if this is the one that I choose. Or Wagon Wheel, which is this darker, kind of like a steel gray, slate gray, very dark. but very, very nice. So yeah, so she, like I say, asked me to try one of these out, and the other two will be up for prizes. And then she also sent something that was very, very generous. She also represents Knitter's Pride, and this I think will be one of the grand prizes for the Toy Knit Along in our group. It's a whole set of DPNs from Knitter's Pride. Aren't those wonderful? Now, I've never tried DPNs before, but I know there's a lot of people out there that would love to have a set like this. There are 6 sets of 5 DPNs each in US sizes 0, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. So those are just beautiful. I have the Knitter's Pride circulars in the wood, and I just love them. They're so warm and smooth. I really love knitting with them. So these are very, very special. And it's even in its own Paris bag that's zipped up to keep them nice and organized. So thank you so much, Stephanie, and at Stitchcraft Marketing. This is just so very generous of you to provide for the viewers of the Victorian Studio podcast group. So one lucky winner is going to be receiving that when the KAL is finished at the end of December. So yes, it was a very wonderful mail day to receive all of those wonderful prizes. So speaking of mail, I also received 2 other packages this past couple of weeks. One was another skein of Loops yarn that I found on somebody's D-stash, and that is called the Mandrakes. And if you're familiar with Harry Potter, you'll know that mandrakes are a plant in the Hogwarts classrooms, and I just love this. This has got some really great tweedy nips in it, so I'm really looking forward to making something special out of that. So another skein of loops that I can use for some upcoming projects for the knit along. This is called Donegal DK, and I don't believe that Lydia has this name of yarn available anymore. This one I think is either from last year or the year before. It's 85% superwash merino and 15% Nep Irish tweed. So it's 231 yards. So I was really pleased to have found this on someone's D-stash, and that they were more than happy to send it up to Canada. So yeah, another loops to add to my collection. So it's really going to come in handy with the Harry Potter knit along. Speaking of which, I also participated in what they call the Harry Potter Halloween swap. And what this was a few of us were paired up to swap some Halloween themed or Harry Potter themed or whatever you wanted to. One thing had to be at least Halloween themed swap parcels to somebody in a different house. And because I'm in Gryffindor, I was paired up with a lovely lady by the name of Patty in Hufflepuff. And she lives in New Jersey, and she totally spoiled me. I couldn't believe the package that was sitting on my porch one day when I got home from work. Thank goodness we live in a secure area, because I would have hated to have had anybody pick this package up. It was just left literally sitting on my porch. But luckily it was fine, and when I opened it up, I really just couldn't believe my eyes. So I had sent off Patty's as well, and I'm happy to say that she was very pleased with what I had sent her. But like I say, she went over and above with what she spoiled me with. So I thought I would just share with you what arrived from Patty. This huge box, which I haven't taken anything out of yet because I wanted to share it with you first before I either used any items or ate or drank any items that she had sent me. First of all, when I opened up the box, everything was wrapped up in a Halloween tablecloth. So this is going to come in handy next Monday. I'm going to put it on our candy table as well. So that was so cool. And once I unwrapped that plastic, one of the cats, Tawny, our rag doll, just went nuts. She was digging in this box like nobody's business. And I had to pull her out of the box because Patty had kindly sent, and I don't have them anymore, they're on the floor somewhere, 3 catnip toys, little mice, one for each of our cats. And of course, Tawny was going nuts over these, and she found them right away. So of course I had to take them off and give one to each cat. So thank you, Patty, for thinking even about the little cats in our family. So that was the first thing that got pulled out of necessity because Tawny was going nuts over it. So Patty also sent this awesome sheep card. I don't know where the heck you'd find this, but that was just perfect. Sheep and Halloween together. And I won't read you what's inside because it's personal, but I just love this card. Really cute. So where to start? Let's see. Because she lives on the Eastern Shore, a lot of the things that she included in her swap package, we were asked to do, make something or put in something about where we're from. So she, like I say, put in so many things here. And the first of which are a couple of postcards. And I love the way that they're also vintage style postcards of the East Coast and a place called Cape May. And this one is a lighthouse at Cape May. Really, really nice. Love those. And she also sent some seashells. Well, a seashell and a starfish. So I thought that was just awesome. And I have a collection of shells in one of my bathrooms, and these are just going to go perfect in there. So she even included those in her package. I'm so glad they weren't damaged at all in shipping all the way up here. Okay, then she also sent all kinds of candy, and now I'll get to eat it now that I finally gotten to show you. Sea salt caramels, goodness, from the original Fudge Kitchen. Oh boy, that sounds awesome. She sent some old-fashioned saltwater taffy, and I have never tried saltwater taffy before, so I can't wait to dig into these. Neither can hubby. Thank you so much. And also, oh my goodness, I had mentioned that I really like dark chocolate, and look at what she sent. A huge Hershey bar dark chocolate. So this is going to be wonderful to snack on. I think it'll sit on my desk, and I will take a little bit at a time, and it's an XL size. And so it should last me a fair amount of time. But I love American Hershey bars. They are a little bit different than the Canadian ones. So whenever we travel to the States, daughter and I always make sure I pick up a couple of Hershey bars. So this is wonderful. Thank you, Patty. Let's see. She also sent some wonderful soap. And this is called Witch's Brew. And it's scented, handcrafted soap from Cherry Tree Apothecary on Etsy. And this is beautiful. It's all kind of swirled on the top. It's got a couple of layers. And this is, let's see, what does it say? No, it doesn't say what scent it is, I don't think. But it is beautiful. It's called Witch's Brew. So that'll be interesting to use. So many things. Of course, she also sent all kinds of different teas, which I can hardly wait to try out. So that's awesome. And something that I had to just laugh at. She also sent a few Halloween items, and one of them is a voodoo doll. Isn't that cute? Now, of course, it has pumpkins all over it. And it says here, everyone needs a voodoo doll. Whether you choose to use it for good or evil is up to you. And it talks about how practitioners used to use voodoo dolls also for healing, not just for, putting needles into. So it says here, every now and then some people need a good poke, it says. So I thought that was really cute. So a voodoo doll, that's going to be kept with our Halloween decorations, as well as a light up pumpkin, which I'm going to just put on my desk here for Halloween as well. So that was really cute. All kinds of goodies. I can't believe she put so much thought into all of these different things as well. And she knows that, of course, I love anything Harry Potter. So really cool Hogwarts sticker I'm going to add to my Harry Potter collections. And a tin with something very special in this tin that I couldn't believe. And of course it has the lion for Gryffindor on there. So I thought, oh, this is very cool, a Harry Potter tin. How lucky am I? That's so neat. And then I opened it up and I couldn't believe what she had sent inside. Something I've wanted for a long time, but never thought I would have. A Sucra miniature. And if you're a knitter, you know that these progress keepers are all the rage. Incredible detail in this. And this is like a, it looks like a chocolate cappuccino or something. So it's incredible, the detail on this. So I can't believe that I actually own a Sucra miniature. So Patty, thank you so much. That is so cool. So very neat. I'm going to have to be very careful in putting that into a very special project. But that's not all. She also spoiled me with, let's see, a project bag. And this is so neat. This is a Sugar Skulls bag. It's a drawstring bag, but I folded down the top so that you could see the bats on the inside as well. So that is just awesome. I just love the Halloween bag. So I pulled up. And this she got from a very special person as well. This is from Diary of a Yarn Snob. So I know that she has a podcast and I haven't yet listened to her, so I'm definitely going to have to check that out. But I know she is a very popular podcaster as well. So I'm very, very privileged to have something that is made by her as well. So Patty, thank you so much. So before I show you the very last thing, second last, our incredible collection of minis. And as I showed you before, I'm getting quite a collection of minis for some kind of project, but look at all of the minis that she has sent. Some incredible ones. There's Knit Picks, and there's Blue Ridge. There is, let's see, Nomadic Yarns. Some of these I know and I have never tried before. Here's some O-loops, and this one's Wargles, which is another Harry Potter colorway. So that's awesome. Pepaloo Fields. I've never heard of them before, but it's really beautiful. And also, let's see, this blue one is from Seven Sisters Arts. And this last one is one that I've never tried her yarn before, so this is a wonderful opportunity. This is some Hue Loco yarn, so I'm really looking forward to trying this out. This is called Stardust. So Patty, thank you so much. This is a great way to try yarns that you have yet to try out yourself. So thank you very much. But I couldn't believe what was at the very bottom of the basket or of the box. When I saw this, it was kind of not the name of the yarn was face down, but I knew at a glance exactly what this was, and it's something that I've been trying to get ever since this yarn dyer has started dyeing this colorway. And I can't believe that I finally have Outlander. I really couldn't believe it. I said, no, it's Outlander. I couldn't believe it. Patty, thank you so much. I was just amazed. This is on Kristen at Voolenvine's blitzed base, and I can't believe that this beautiful colorway is finally here. I always seem to miss out on her updates, and Outlander goes as quickly as she posts it. Within minutes, her yarn is sold out. So I'm a big fan of Outlander, and you don't have to be to love this colorway. It's just amazing. So I'm going to have to choose a very, very special project to use this in, but I think I'm just going to enjoy it sitting on my shelf with my other yarns in this form until I decide on something very special to use it for. So Patty, thank you so much. You can't understand how very precious this is to me, because I have been trying to get myself some Outlander for so long. So incredible Halloween swap with Patty from Hufflepuff. So it was a lot of fun. I hope she enjoys everything that I sent her half as much as how much I enjoyed all the wonderful, thoughtful things that she had sent me. So I hope you enjoyed seeing all of that. So I thought I would end today's episode with some photos of my trip to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter back in 2013. I was going through some other photos the other day, and I realized that exactly 3 years ago yesterday is when I went to Orlando for a business trip and spent the entire day on the 24th of October at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Hogsmeade and Hogwarts. And I've previously shared some photos of that trip on episode 4 of my podcast, but those were mostly photos of the buildings and exhibits and rides. What I thought I would share with you this time is some other photos that were more relating to Halloween. Halloween was the best time to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and I didn't put in all of these pictures in the previous episode. So I thought it would be interesting now that it's Halloween in a few days. I thought you might enjoy seeing some of these photos from the Harry Potter exhibit in Florida. So I hope everyone has a wonderful Halloween. Be safe and have fun. And I hope that you'll come back in 2 weeks' time. November the 8th, I'll record again. And I hope you'll come back and visit me again in my Victorian studio. So until then, have a wonderful couple of weeks, everyone. And we'll see you then. Bye-bye.